MCs. 95.9 KRFF, that's us. Benefit Electromagneto, June 17th. Come on out, support local radio, local musicians, and just, independent grinders that don't have corporate backing and don't have all kinds of flash and cash. We're just out there trying to do what we do. And this is the best radio station as far as I'm concerned. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Hello, everybody. Let's do it. We're going to talk about cannabis this hour. 4:20, we're going to open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and that's going to be exciting. Before me, side stage with Trav, 1 to 3, pushing out to tunes and talking about stuff going on. And right after me, Stinky Arts Music Mart in an hour. And he's so stinky, I can almost smell him already. Now he might be in the trees or he might just be under the desk. But there is a wafting whiff of Stinky Arts Music Mart right after me. Then Locals on the 8, Radio Free Madness, Black Ring Ritual. Bump, boop, ba-deep, beep, beep is your Thursday. Come on back Friday, and there's other days too. There's always something going on. Independent radio, support it. I talk about cannabis legalization. We have the local, the new state North Dakota ballot initiative being circulated. The cats, I want to say right now before I forget, New Approach North Dakota are at Rib Fest. So if you don't like the ribs and you don't like the music, but you support cannabis, just buzz on up there. I believe you can access them and sign it without actually getting inside. It seems to me like they might be right outside the door. So again, if you want to get a signature down on the New Approach North Dakota, up you can have an ounce. There's going to be 3 plant allow grow, which is exciting. And just go to New Approach North Dakota if you want to find out more information. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy, Black Cottage Alchemy on the Facebook, blackcottagealchemy.com, or all the products of our sponsor is Antochi Products. So scooter your way downtown, be it parasail or your own volition, that means your feet. Step on in there and check out the colloidal silver. They got the body butter that's fantastic. It's made with kosher full spectrum CBD, North Dakota grown hemp seed oil, 1,600 mgs of the CBD, mango butter, shea butter, cocoa butter. Get turmeric in there, frankincense, sage, and rosemary. And the newer batches, if you're lucky to get one of them, will have ylang ylang. That's Y's in front of both of those. Google it for its benefits. I haven't gotten around to it yet. However, this body butter is good for neuropathy, pain, foot fungus, stretch marks, and hair. And I paraphrase. There's a bunch of other stuff that stuff is good for. I use it daily. I always got it around. I suggest you do the same. I thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now, when you're down at Tochi Products, there's going to be a petition in there to sign. My boy Matt at Orange Records also has a petition to sign. And again, if you're up north, you eating some ribs, you got a bunch of meat in your mouth, sign the petition. They're out there, will you? I believe cannabis was made by our creator, God himself, and I show him props every Sunday at Antioch Church, 517, I lied, 417 Main Avenue between Broadway and stinking 4th Street. 10 a.m., I'm on the skins again. We got a special guy talking about hell and stuff. It's exciting. Come on through. But again, I believe he created cannabis for us to use as we see fit. I believe no matter how you do it, it's got medical benefits. And that's just the way it is, baby. Canna-Talk ND on Instagram will give you information when I push this out, minus the music on YouTube. CannaTalkND.com can get you as a link or as a redirector to YouTube, but I would encourage you to go to RadioFreeFargo.org and go to the calendar or the shows and type in this date 4 p.m. and you'll get the music, and it's pulled right off the what's called the Spinitron, and so you'll dig it. I like listening to myself because the music's in there, but I won't bore you any further. Speaking of music, I have compiled some brand new instrumentally type stuff. So, without further ado, here's Keep Pushing, Flow Tribe, Ivan Neville, 95.9. I lied, there's words in this one, my bad. Keep Pushing, Flow Tribe, and even Ivan Neville. Navel. I have a navel, means I've got one too. or Ivan Neville is the guy from New Orleans. You know, it all depends on how you emphasis the syllable. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. Canna-Talk ND is the reference in which the inference, as I discuss, in vocalization, words, enunciations about cannabis legalization, the benefits of said cannabis, and even like the bad stuff. Like last week, people were trying to blame cannabis on the Uvalde shooting. Scromiting, that was a word I never heard of before till last week. Now, if you guys are like just tuning in and you're like, scromit, what's that? I'd love to tell you. It means while you're vomiting, you're screaming. Apparently, it's from a high-potency cannabis, and the potency makes you scream puke, a.k.a. scromit, which ironically is also a metal rivet that gets pushed into a tarp. Just kidding. That's a grommet. But hey, grommet is a scrommet. Grommet is a scrommet without an S. I'll stop. I will. But anyway, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday, get in here 4 o'clock, 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Side stage with Trav was right before me, noon 1 to 3. We have Stinky Arts Music Mart. Again, I can assure you he's going to be here today because, again, I feel like I can smell him already. So that's a good sign because, if you do a show called Stinky Arts Music Mart and you ain't stinky, well, then you ain't Stinky Art. And then it ain't the show that you guys want to hear. So stick around for that. Then we got locals on the Radio Free Madness, Black Ring Ritual. And there you have it. Cannabis. It's exciting. New approach, North Dakota. That's what's happening as we speak. I don't want to forget about North Dakota Cannabis Caucus. They have also been grinding. They're currently trying to get sponsors to create their own measure, a ballot initiative, essentially. So when there's more to be said about that, I'll keep you posted. Until then, New approach, North Dakota, up to an ounce you can have 3 plants, and that's the exciting one, but it's also the scary one because, we all know that a ballot initiative, once it gets to the Capitol, it can be messed with. It's not set in stone. And, if you followed the legislators' actions in the past, since 2015 with medical? They've been out to get you. And Homegrow, boy, they know like it to Homegrow, I can assure you. But it'll be a big win for medical because medical doesn't have a home grow and it should. So, New approach, North Dakota. I know for a fact that Tochi has a petition. Orange Records has a petition. And there are other places. I'm just not sure of it. You'll have to go to newapproachnorthdakota.org.com or just Google it. I know the guys, specifically the Dirk Diggler lookalike, they are posted up at the Rib Fest. North Fargo, 19th Avenue North at the Fargo Dome. I don't know how long they'll be there, but if I know Rib Fest, they'll get crunk for a while. So I would imagine that they're going to be out there a while. And then what a great place to be out getting it done for sure. So again, if you support cannabis legalization, even if you're not for recreational, again, I believe it's all medical at some point. Even if you accidentally use it for fun, it's going to sneak something good into you. So keep that in mind. But even not, just know that home grow is really what medical needs to make it a good a program here in the state of North Dakota, and it's missing that. So if we've got a backdoor medical home grow through recreational, well then let's party. What's the difference? As far as the guy who needs it and is growing it. He's like, it's too bad it's not allowed in the medical program, but it's allowed recreationally. So I'm using it to, support my medical, whatever. So again, I'm going to type in here. So, like I said, you can go to New Approach North Dakota, and they will take care of you, and you can donate. And I believe you can be a petition getter. And I believe Marijuana Policy Project, otherwise known as MPP, is providing some sort of contribution in the form of a wage. Again, you'll have to check that out. New Approach North Dakota. The ballot initiative petition is in Tochi Products. as well as Black Cottage Alchemy Products, who sponsors this show. And shout out to, I want to say them, but it's a her. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to play a little more music. And I lied about it, but now it all is instrumental. This is Funky Ray by Lucky Peterson. And right after this, we're going to get Canna-Talk ND with Wilson going. See you in about 5 minutes. Yep, Funky Ray, Lucky Peterson. That's how you do it on KRFF 95.9, Radio Free Fargo, streaming radiofreefargo.org. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday, 4 o'clock. I come skipping in via osmosis through the window, through the door, just to get us to here. And we're here. So, I'm going to play a little bit of this. On the other side, we're going to talk about cannabis.
Yo, it's Wilson from Canna-Talk ND. You know, the super awesome show you're getting ready to listen to. I think you should go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll wait. Okay, enjoy the show.
Doop. Hello, everybody, and since this is a show about cannabis, I gap something out. Orange Records Underwriter. Music on 95.9 KRFF LPA. Radio Free Fargo has been underwritten by Orange Records. Orange Records offers a variety of new and used music on vinyl and CD, as well as a large selection of posters, DVDs, and much more. Orange Records buys used vinyl, CDs, and cassettes. Orange Records is located at 641 First Avenue North in DT Fargo. They are open noon to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday, closed on Sunday. Search Orange Records Fargo on Facebook for updates on new arrivals and special events. And there is a cannabis legalization petition in there for you to sign. So sign it. All right? Sign it. And then buy some stuff at Orange Records. Thank you for underwriting this show. My main man, Matt. Cannabis. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Here we are. We made it. I just had to do that quick. So I did do that quick. And so now we're going to talk about cannabis. I got stuff queued up here, so we're going to get at it. What's the thing I first got going on here? Cannabis moment. Let me say this one thing. I got something exciting coming up. I should have tickled you with it in the pre-talkie time, but Minnesota just came out with this edible allowance, and we'll talk about it. It's kind of exciting. I mean, it's kind of exciting. We'll talk about it in just a little bit, but first, cannabis moment. Most U.S. Border Patrol checkpoint drug seizures target Americans with small amounts of cannabis, federal report reveals. So if you're imagining these big, huge piles of, packages duct taped to, the inside of these huge semis, no. Agents are mostly taking small amounts from American citizens. Okay. Many people probably assume agents are primarily targeting large shipments being smuggled by the cartel. Not true. So according to stats, who provide auditing and investigation services for Congress, analyzed Border Patrol data of 17,960 separate checkpoint seizures from 2016 to 2020, and they found that most drug seizures involved only U.S. citizens, 91%, which 75% involved the seize of cannabis and no other drugs. So that's horrible. I mean, just think about that. But then you think like, well, what idiot, is thinking they can just jump over with a little bit of cannabis. I know when I was in Mexico, I just took the CBD, and I probably could take the Delta 8 if I was going to go back to Mexico. But who knows what's going on with Mexico legalization? I mean, man, they've been farting around for a long time. So the analysis of checkpoint data also found that 69% of seizures were for personal use amounts of less than 1 Ozazel. The report, some findings from which were earlier noted that the patrol agents did not consistently document seizures of trace amounts, such as residue found on para. According to agency, trace cannabis should be classified differently than paraphernalia containing small bits of cannabis. But GAO found that 1,900 seized items contained just whatever. So Border Patrol headquarters officials told us they officially focused their oversight of drug seizure data on relatively large seizures, such as marijuana seizures over 100 pounds. As a result, officials acknowledged that incorrect documentation of small amounts would likely be undetected by headquarters. And so if you want to go to Cannabis Moment and type in most U.S. Border Patrol checkpoint drug seizures target Americans with small amounts, they have broke it down into all kinds of stuff. So, but yeah, that's too bad. That is too bad. We're going to keep moving. And now, this is kind of interesting to me, and I ain't going to focus on this a lot. GOP congressman, this is from Cannabis Moment. GOP congressman blasts Democrats for blocking his cannabis amendment and failing to enact reform. GOP congressman is blasting Democrats. It's funny because everybody thinks Democrats are pro-cannabis. And you can see that that's not entirely the case. This Matt guy has fixated on calling out the other party for its inability to get any cannabis measures, including limited baking-focused reforms, to the president's desk to be signed into law, even though they control both chambers of Congress. Well, of course. That sounds, makes sense to me. This representative Matt guy goes, the war on drugs is like so many of the other forever wars, deeply unpopular in all parts of the country except in the halls of Congress. Democrats don't want to solve the problem. They just want the issue. So, and like I said, cannabis dispensary workers setting ducks as violent robberies increased. Politicians dither over banking details. It's similar to the PTSD Army war vets that say, listen, cannabis specifically concentrates, isolating white widow, and, specifically manages our night terrors while we were over protecting your stupid freedom. And they go, I don't know. We'll have to decide if that's what's best. Get back to us in 100 years. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So the amendment was ruled non-germane by the panel's Democratic chairman, despite the congressman insistent that freeing up states to enact reform would better serve people. We are now in a circumstance where one of the easiest, fastest, most capable ways to advance health care outcomes for people with traumatic brain injuries would be to unlock the great research potential that exists throughout our country. And the States Act would pass the United States Senate. It should pass the House under Democratic control. He pointed out that the MORE Act has stalled despite having twice passed the House. Getz believes that the relatively limited States Act, which does not contain social equity, would stand a better chance of advancing in the other chamber. And this isn't the first article that I've read about people that you wouldn't expect to be with it is getting with it. And again, it's just natural. I think it needs to get in our diets. I think we need to start eating real food. If you've been in the convenience store and you get me even the hard-boiled eggs in that weird liquid suspended floating in the plastic sack, I don't even know if that's a real egg. Oh, I think it is. But it's got so many preservatives, I could eat that 20 years from now. It'd look the same. It might be a 20-year-old egg that looks the same. We don't know. So it's like, that can't be good for us. As a general whole, we need to be eating real food. Somewhere down the line, even my kid, she thinks like everything in the freezer, chips, pop. She's still eating Dunk of stinking Roos. Thinking that's, like a good car. Like, you know what I mean? Like the generation that I brought up, that I raised, I don't even know. They think unreal food is food. And again, go to a convenience store and find something that came up out of the ground, harvested, and then put on the shelf. It just don't exist. You can go to a grocery store, but again, some of that fresh produce, because I eat clean, everything I eat is raw and fresh that I cook every day, so I know how tricky it is. And if cannabis and hemp was reintroduced into our diets, I believe a lot of the anxieties is coming from these fake foods and the sugars and the processed stuff. And you're like, well, that's just what, like hippy dippy people say. Well, I do it. And my ADD symptoms, I deal with a lot of anxiety. That still happens. And I'm not sure why. My mornings have been pretty tough lately. But when I add sugars and stuff, it gets even worse. I digress. Cannabis moment again. Connecticut governor jams to country song celebrating cannabis legalization, drawing criticism from GOP opponent. The governor jammed into a new country song about all the good things about his state, including the fact that it's cool to smoke some you-know-what cannabis since he signed an adult use legalization into bill. So, Governor Ned Lamont, which you want to call him Ted Lamont, he twittered, Connecticut has everything. The nation's best pizza, lobster, college, beaches, country music. He goes, yes, you read that right. We have country music like this toe-tapping track about our great state. Now, the track, and I'll give you a little hit off it. Back home, we thank the governor for the blessings that we got. We can gamble on the internet, and it's cool to smoke some. That's right. So y'all come visit my state and mind your etiquette. I guarantee you'll be welcome in Connecticut. Man, I need to stop cleaning and start rapping people. MC Wilson? Huh? Maybe not. This might come to you as a shocker. Go and get yourself some blue blockers. Yeah. Remember that back in the day? All you old coots? Man, blue blockers. There were some those were some sun glasses. But anyway, he got some trouble for it. So the song also takes note of one other state's cannabis law, saying that getting high in Colorado is the Rocky Mountain way. Lamont, he said he didn't rule it out after, about smoking it. This video can't be real, says Stefanowski. He's the guy that would run against him. He goes, our governor should not be encouraging kids to smoke cannabis because Ned Lamont believes it's cool to smoke. If this doesn't prove we need a change in leadership, I'm not sure what does. That's hilarious. Our governor should not be encouraging kids. I mean, I'm not so sure that he is. Meanwhile, Lamont has also signed a large-scale budget bill that includes provisions to set the state up to provide certain patients with access to psychedelic-assisted treatment, substances like MDMA and psilocybin, which, just for fun, I want to point out again, like I mentioned last week, British Columbia, starting in 2023 for 3 years, is going to decrimp 2.5 grams of crack, smack, and whack, and then the techno drug, and that's crazy because apparently there's been too many suicides. So they think and so if you are sitting around with a gram less, basically it's like a half gram more than a teener, and a gram shy of an 8-ball. So plenty. If that was heroin laced with fent, if that was like fentanyl, had the blue running through it, dude, that would be way more than enough to kill a couple people. Especially if they were shooting it, I mean, man. So I don't know. Somehow maybe the overdose, so maybe the suicide stopped. But now you got all these overdoses. It just seems like a crazy idea. But Google it. Yeah, British Columbia. The early part of next year, they're going to decrim up to 2.5 grams. And if a cop comes up on you and you've got it, now there's some places you can't be with it. You can't be in church with it, and you can't be like in a post office. But what? But still, that's crazy sounding to me. All right, so let's talk about Illinois. Adult use cannabis sales have steadied at 130 million, which seems to be about what it is per month. Adult use cannabis sales in Illinois is on pace to reach 1.5 billion this year, only about a 10% increase from 2021. So they're just it's right around in there. So that's exciting. The state's adult use industry is controlled by legacy marijuana operators. That's exciting. So keep up the good work. Now, here we are at Minnesota. This is from Ganjapreneur. Minnesota legalizes up to 5 mgs of THC in hemp-derived food and beverages. Isn't that crazy? Because, did he legalize cannabis in edible form? Because, 5 mgs, that's barely anything. Eat 60 of them. Boom. Feel me? You are now medicated without having a medical card. Now, there might be a limit to what you can buy, and we're going to get into it here. But, this came out just today. It hit my feed before I even came. Minnesota legalizes up to 5 mgs of THC in hemp-derived food and beverages. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has signed a bill to effectively legalize up to 5 mgs. So they say up to, so, it's going to be 5, including both Delta 8 and Delta 9 in consumable products. And they can be only sold to those 21 and older. Now, I don't know where you're going to buy them. Oh, I guess, hold on, we'll find out. The bill effectively legalizes products with low levels of Delta 8, Delta 9, up to 5 mgs, and up to 50 mgs per package. Wow. Well, come on, Minnesota people. Didn't you just get recreational cannabis in edible gummy form? Okay, well, let's just keep reading. I'm getting excited. So Curtis Hanna, a lobbyist for the Minnesota chapter of the Normal, said, chapter of the Normal? I think they added a "the" in there, didn't they? Said she thinks the measure is a way in which Minnesotans are going to be able to check out what it's like to have legal products being sold on shelves in a non-gray market. I don't know what non-gray market means. Can I buy them at a gas station? I don't know. She says she thinks the measure is a way in which Minnesotans are going to be able to check out what it's like to have illegal products being sold on shelves. Yeah, absolutely. Last month, federal court in California ruled that the 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp, repealed prohibitions, including Delta 8. Minnesota rules do crack down on vape Delta 8 THC. As the 0.3 limit of THC content now includes any tetrahydrocannabinol. That limit will cause a shakeup at Minnesota smoke shops that sell highly concentrated Delta 8 products. Now, I don't know when that happens. Hannah added that the measure is pretty exclusively dipping that toe into beverages and edible food products, as opposed to making any progress on smokable or vaporizable products. So, I think those of you who are listening to me, if you like high Delta 8, you better get yourself to a stove, because it looks like it's going down to 0.3, and that don't sound good at all. So anyway, this is from High Times. Report shows cannabis tourism industry valued at $17 billion. That sounds like a lot. So it's reported to be valued at $17 billion and could begin to grow rapidly post-COVID. A report featured in Forbes states that 50% of millennials think that adult use cannabis access is important when making plans to travel, and that 43% of millennials specifically choose a destination because of legalization. My daughter, she's a teacher. She's got some teachers' convention. She's been in Vegas all week. When she got off the plane, there was a big billboard that said something like, you don't feel like looking for a dispensary, you don't feel like getting out of your motel, we'll come to you. Oh, well, that's nice. So it's kind of neat. Like, so, my point is you ain't but out the plane before you're seeing a billboard and advertisements for cannabis. So that's cannabis marketing, cannabis tourism. So, hello, which is located in Northern California. He estimates that tour participants sometimes spend $300 to $400 when they visit dispensaries, which is more than the average adult use consumer. These guys, Travel Intelligence, reported the net impact on consumers' decisions was minimal. However, an MMGY study conducted in 2020 stated that 18% of American travelers were interested in cannabis experiences while traveling. When the survey data was reduced to include only those over age 21, with an annual income of $50,000, the percentage of who are interested on vacation increases to 62%. Oh. So, Forbes estimates that $4.5 billion of the $25 collected was connected to cannabis tourism and related purchases such as hotel food. Oh, boy. With nearly 20 states have legalized adult use, the opportunity for cannabis-related tourism rises. Colorado has a strong reputation of adult use consumption that doesn't require marketing. They only offer a little advice on safety. They say cannabis is not one of the major drives. But, again, it's if cannabis is your thing and you're here, we have retail shops that are illegal. And we have experiences that you can enjoy no differently than if you went to a brew pub or wine bar. So that's pretty cool. So what do we got here? This is from Cannabis Now, and I just wanted to mention that you're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here, 4:20, I open a big fat bag of cannabis news on the best radio station in the world, as far as I'm concerned, KRFF 95.9. RadioFreeFargo.org is where we're streaming. And I am ankle deep into this segment of cannabis information. I sounded like Obama there. To date, legal cannabis in America has been understood one of two ways: medicine or fun. There's medical marijuana, requiring a qualifying condition, a doctor's recommendation before any legal weed. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, guys. I don't want to be done. I just think it might be best for your ears. And then there's adult use cannabis requiring nothing but a government-issued ID proving one's age. And so that's another thing. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to pay the stupid doctor fees for them to go, well, we don't know what it is either. We're just going to give you this whatever, keep an eye on it. Well, I can keep an eye on it after stopping at the dispensary and getting something for this. And more people just need to understand that, I mean, doctors, just because they went to a bunch of schooling doesn't make them, God. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we've kind of strayed from this whole natural, like our ancestors got here without fancy pharmaceutical crap meds. We just did. Now, people will say, well, not everybody did, survival of the fittest. But, I mean, even the survival of the fittest were fit because they were probably utilizing natural solutions. I'm just guessing because I was born in 1975. I don't know what that means. I just thought maybe, the one of you who's listening would want to know that 1975 was the date of my birth. Okay, that's irrelevant too. So let's keep going. But what if there's a third way? As the late activist Dennis Perron used to say, all cannabis use was medical. So do I. Or at least part of a general wellness strategy. So do I. There's a title here, Weed Up, Pills Down. The passage of medical cannabis laws have been associated with a drop in script pharmaceuticals. The effect of adult use cannabis law is no small deal in East Coast states such as New York, where the medical program is small and difficult to access thanks to tight restriction. So researchers looked at Medicaid prescriptions filled between 2011 and all 50. And in states that legalize adult use cannabis, they found significant reduction in prescription filled for drugs meant to treat pain. So, put another way, legalization seems to present a significant medical benefit, along with the familiar arguments for social justice and a new source of tax revenue. People are self-medicating with cannabis, and while it's hard to say for certain whether they're achieving the same results, the fact that they don't seem to be returning to pharmaceuticals is suggestive, huh? So, cannabis for anxiety, depression, and insomnia. They saw the steepest drops in demand, and they've seen drops of 12 to 11 to 10 to 10% respectively for all those 4 crazy head cases that I just mentioned. In addition to potential cost savings for Medicaid programs, adult use cannabis may present an additional harm reduction benefit. The researchers found with people dropping or reducing reliance on pharmaceuticals with nasty side effects, it's easier to access over-the-counter rec cannabis becomes available. That's what I'm saying. So, case in point, when Minnesota consumers start consuming these up to 50 mgs of the THC, Minnesota going to be a cooler place to be. And things are going to change, and you're going to see a drop in the medical kind of need, because they're just raping you anyway. Like I said, those rapid cares are just little, in and out rape stations for your money. But anyway, I digress. Let's keep cruising. Now, this is kind of interesting. This is from High Times. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, former cop, says light up. Now, if you don't know, they don't have any stores yet in New York. Everything being bought is in that weird space. That weird gifting. You can knock on there's a green van at Times Square. You knock 2 times on the back, and somebody shoots you in the back of the head with like an airsoft pistol and a sack, like an eighth. I don't know, pigeons are bringing you cannabis in alleys with like drones hooked up to them. So it's like, how could this guy tell you to do it? So here we go. So the New York City mayor told New Yorkers to light up until licensing begins and the market matures. So basically he's saying, hey, don't wait, just get it done. So anyway, at the Cannabis World Congress Expo, Adams spoke on Friday, told millions of New Yorkers to light up. He told attendees to support even unlicensed businesses during the great area time period till the New York market matures. Mayor Adams was announced as the keynote speaker. Now, the mayor did not beat around the bush. He said, enjoy yourself, light up, but most importantly, spend some money. According to Governor Kathy Hochul, the state's expected to rake in $1.25 billion. While New York's adult use retail market hasn't officially kicked off, locals say there are secret and not so secret clubs, trucks, and gifting shops open for business all over that have been popping up since the state approved adult use. The mayor went on further saying that he doesn't plan on cracking down during the transition stage, which appears to be in the gray area. Listen, you can't do this, give them a warning. Allocated $5 million in funding from his executive budget to provide the needed boost for New Yorkers to apply for adult use cultivation license. He also hinted that simple cannabis crimes will be dealt with as a slap on the wrist. They refuse to adhere to the rules, and you have to come back, take some form of enforcement action. Talking about their ability to sell alcohol. Oh, man, check this out. Before becoming the 110th mayor of New York City, Adams served in the New York Police Department as a cop. In his extended bio, Adams said he chose to join the NYPD because of an earlier incident of police brutality. Check this out. Adams was beaten by police in the basement. The mayor of New York was beaten by police in the basement of a precinct house at 15. But instead of being defeated, he eventually joined the force himself to make changes and decrease the amount of racism in public forces. That's intense. Adams even acknowledged the weed trucks that are all over the place in New York City. He goes, we need to incentivize those who have their illegal trucks or have the trucks going on to show them that this is a better pathway. The goal is not to leave people behind. Crazy. So, that's nuts. So, I'm going to leave you at that. Well, first of all, I'm going to say new approach, North Dakota. Again, it's time to responsibly regulate cannabis. They are out at the Rib Fest as we speak, so get over there and sign. Tochi Products has the petition. Go in there and sign. That's downtown. Orange Records, they have the petition. Get in there and sign. Go to New Approach North Dakota online, and if you want to stinking donate or volunteer or that sort of thing, just go to New Approach North Dakota. Again, I want to thank you guys for checking out another. Is it episode? Is it? I'm having the episode. You're just listening to what? To the show? So yeah, another show here has came to an end. I just wanted to mention that programming on KRFF 95.9 is being underwritten by Art Riot Promotions. Art Riot will design and print any businesses or personalized custom decals in a variety of shapes and sizes. Art Riot creates custom engraved gifts and promotional items. Art Riot offers flexi online or in-person consultations. Local in-store pickup or shipping is available for any order. Visit them at 819 Main Avenue in Moorhead. Art Riot is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can find them online at artriotpromotions.com and also on Facebook and Instagram. I wanted to make sure and remind you again about our upcoming KRFF benefit. 95.9 Radio Free Fargo puts on Electromagneto. June 17th, Club Aquarium, a.k.a. Fishbowl, a.k.a. Above Dempsey's Irish Pub. On Broadway, Joe Bott, Ekblad, Mount Curve, and DJ Calum NOP, one of our very own DJs. Get out there and support our stinking radio station, would ya? Do us a solid and let's keep us rocking. Again, that's 95.9 KRFF benefit Electromagneto, June 17th, Fishbowl, a.k.a. Above Dempsey's. Doot. Support local radio and local artists. You're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here, 420, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. And that's just what we did. So I'm going to play a little tune. This here is Stank Eye by the Magic Beans on 95.9. And that's how you wrap up a show. Stank Eye, the Magic Beans. Everything you heard today was brand stinking new. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday. 420, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Stinky Arts Music Mart is right after me. He's getting ready. He's doing push-ups out in the green room as we speak. So it's going to be a good one. Stick around for that. Locals on the 8, Radio Free Madness. Black Ring Ritual is your Thursday. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. BlackCottageAlchemy.com. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. Tochi Products has all the Black Cottage Alchemy products. So the body butter, the colloidal silver. And while you're in there, sign the New Approach North Dakota ballot initiative petition for an ounce and 3 plants. They are well on their way. I would imagine they're well over 10,000. I'd say so they got at least 10,000. They need 16 by July. They are grinding. They're doing good work. So if you see them out there, get the signature signed. They'll be at Rib Fest all this week. So, like I said, do your best to get out there. But if you can't come downtown, Orange Records, Tochi Products, they have the petition. Or go to newapproachnorthdakota.org or whatever and get a hold of somebody. They'll make sure you get it done. I'm out of here. I'll be back next Thursday, 4 o'clock sharp. So you do the same. Again, thanks for listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Educate yourself on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. Come on back here next Thursday, and I'll be here, and we'll all be here. Enjoy your day. Enjoy Stinky Arts Music Mart. It's David Allen, Judgment Day. Peace.